Of all the many wonderful things about going fishing, spending time with friends is top of my list. In early winter, southeast Queensland can have the most delightful weather with long periods of calm, clear days. At the southern end of Fraser Island are the sheltered waters of Tin Can Bay. This is the body of water that separates the island from the mainland. At this time of the year, longtail tuna move in to feed on the prodigious bait schools. There's a couple of different ways of approaching these fish. One, of course, is to zoom up and turn the boat side on as you get within casting range, but in these very calm conditions, we're just sneaking up on them, or trying to sneak up on them. I want to drive the school out of here. This is enclosed water, and they've come right into this bay. We start zooming all over the place, we'll just chase them out. They'll go back out to sea. So we're using the quiet and sneaky approach with the Yamaha 4-stroke, just trying to get close enough to them. It's going to be very, very challenging fishing. They're quite big fish. Occasional swirls on the surface as they take a single bait. You get that one, Jarad, at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, I saw that fish, that was pretty subtle.
Yeah, very subtle. Just subsurface swirls and stuff. Just a matter of getting close enough and finding a fish that's up, you know, in the surface zone to get a fly in front of it. It's pretty challenging, but that's why we love it. If it was easy, you'd probably give up and go home after a while. I've known Jarad since he was a jetty rat, and these days he's one of the finest fly casters I know. Nice cast, you haven't lost your touch, mate. A little bit of luck with these things too, you know. Jarad cast into them then, and he cast to the right and they went to the left. Sometimes you don't know which way they're going to go. Just that element of luck. They're tough fish. That's what we like about it. This pale pink seems to be very favoured amongst some of these southeast Queensland tuna guys. I'm in communication with them fairly regularly, and they've been catching a lot of fish on pink, which is a strange thing, but it works. A little bit of UV flash in there. These were really tough conditions, and even with Jarad's great casting, getting close to the fish was our biggest challenge. You've been practicing. Oh, thank you. Whew. Took some work.
First one came at me.
Yeah.
Just getting warmed up here.
I love that sound. I don't think there's a better sound in the world. That's the funny thing about longtails, isn't it, though? You get to an area where they've been feeding, and very often they'll still be hanging there.
Yep.
You know? You might think they've gone, there's no splashes, but they're
There's a little bit of body language from those two birds,
yeah. Oh no, shark.
It's hard when you see them like that not to want to race in, but
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea to take our time, like you were saying earlier, just nice and quiet.
It's a real exercise in patience, isn't it? You've got fish boiling in front of you, and your instinct is to just go straight into them, but not on a day like this, not in water like this. Playing the sneaky game. One of the real keys to chasing tuna like this is to be ready to strip the moment the fly hits the water. Whether you're tucking the rod under your arm or going into a single strip, you don't want the fly to hit the water and be sitting there sinking with lots of slack line on the water that you have to retrieve. So make your cast and tighten up before the fly hits the water and start your retrieve. That little bit of tighten up before the fly hits the water also turns the leader over straight away. Double strip if you really need speed. Most tuna fishing is double stripping. Here we go. And then strip straight away.
Go, yep.
Yes! Oh, yes! Ow! Oh, just short of it. Oh, a dry fly line. Swimming with its mates. This is when you want a silky smooth drag, I tell you. Those runs, opening run of a longtail, is something pretty special. Still going. I'm just fishing a 9-weight with a clear intermediate outbound shooting head. Fish have been a little spooky, very difficult to get close to. So long casts have been the order of the day. Little pink surf candy style fly. Picked that one. I thought I'd actually pulled the fly out of the zone, but it was halfway back to the boat when the fish hit it. They must have kept coming straight at us. One of the wise men of the fly fishing world said, if you want to take up saltwater fly fishing, first thing you practice is winding. And how true that is. Just don't get to do this much winding. Most other forms of fly fishing, particularly trout. I wind with my right hand, wind with my dominant hand. I can really put line back on the reel quickly. At this stage, when you get up and down on a fish, keep your rod tip almost in the water. Use short lift and winds. That'll really upset the fish. That's immediately changed its pattern. I thought that was going to come in the boat, Jarad. That was so close. And the fish gets up and down on you. Don't panic. Get the rod right down under the water. You know, the rod's 9 feet long. You can just follow it around the boat. Even if it goes around the back of the boat. Didn't like that little bit of pump and wind I just gave it. Short lifts. Fighting a fish through the butt of the rod here, not through the top half. If I lift the rod higher, you can see the point of bend move further up the rod where it's not as strong. Keeping the rod tip right down under the water, I'm fighting the fish through the strongest part here. Okay, got a couple of turns on it there. Got a lot of drag on this fish, up and down on it. I'm fishing a 20-pound tippet. Okay, become a real slugfest at this stage. It's only a 9-weight rod. A lot of the guys fishing here use 10s and 11s. But because the fish have been a bit spooky, I went to the 9-weight. Come on. Get some good lifts on it. Just a falling tide. They've been feeding right up inside the bay here. Coming out with the tide now. And they're just lying in the current here, ambushing all the bait fish that's being swept out. One of the keys to fighting these fish is low, flat rod angles. Once you start lifting your rod up here, the pressure goes right off the fish. And of course, the possibility of breaking the rod becomes much higher. Keep your rod low. The other thing is, don't panic. If the fish goes under the boat, which these longtails inevitably will, fish comes close to the boat, don't panic, like this is going to do now. Get around the boat and won't come in. By pulling it backwards, because tuna have to keep moving. If you can slow it in the water, it's going to reduce the amount of oxygen the fish is getting. If you can pull it backwards at all, you really hurt them. Oh, come on.
Bit of swell to add to the equation there too, Peter.
Yeah, bit of rock and roll. Well done, mate. Well done.
Beautiful, well done, Peter.
Been a while since I did that, mate, and it shows.
That pink fly.
Yeah, the pink fly. That's what the Southeast Queensland Tuna Mafia told me to use. Wonderful, thank you, mate. Nice fish, Jarad.
Yeah, well done, Peter.
Haven't done that for a while. Longtails are found around much of Australia's coastline. They are a highly valued sport fish, especially among fly fishermen in southeast Queensland, where they have a real cult status. Their habit of moving right into sheltered waters is just one of their most endearing traits. Much of the time, these will really challenge your full repertoire of fly fishing skills.
Oh, right.
Giving that a touch up.
Wow, he's going
Do you want me
nuts.
to chase it for you?
No, we're all right.
Come on, Jarad. Just a slog now.
So many different characteristics.
Yeah, yeah. I like their different feeding characteristics. You know, you get the big crashing classic tuna boil up through to individual tuna just slowly sipping on the surface, chasing bait, and everything in between. Probably one of the only tuna species in the world you can sight fish to on the flats. He's certainly up and down on you there. Having to use some really brutal tactics on this. For a 9-weight rod, there he goes, pop its head through the surface now. That's usually a really good sign that the fish is about to give up. As the fish is going away, Jarad's really putting the heat on it to slow it down in the water and gaining a lot of line as it comes towards him. The idea is on this leg of the circle to try and get its head out like that. So the fish is taking a breath of air. That's what they don't like. Yes!
Thanks, Peter.
Well done! Nice fish.